My restaurant was empty on Christmas during a snowstorm. Then a millionaire walked in with 12 homeless kids. The loneliest night of the year. Christmas Eve should have been the busiest night of the year. Instead, I stood alone in my small Italian restaurant, watching snow pile up against the windows while empty tables mocked my dreams. After 2 years of pouring every dollar and sleepless night into Bella's kitchen, named after my late grandmother who taught me everything about cooking with love, I was 3 weeks from closing forever. The snowstorm had started that morning, transforming downtown into a ghost town. My staff had called out one by one, trapped in their homes by impassable roads. The reservations I'd counted on canceled. By 6 p.m., I'd accepted reality. I would spend Christmas alone in a failing restaurant, surrounded by food nobody would eat and memories of better times. Then the door opened, bringing a blast of frigid wind and snow. A tall man in an expensive overcoat stepped inside, followed by 12 children in threadbare coats and worn shoes, their faces red from cold and eyes wide with wonder. I had no idea that this unexpected group would teach me the true meaning of success, generosity, and what it really means to serve others. Some moments change everything. This was mine. 2 years of dreams and debt. I'd left my secure corporate job as an accountant to follow my grandmother's dream. Bella had run a tiny restaurant in our neighborhood for 40 years, feeding families, celebrating milestones, creating community. When she passed, she left me her recipes, her philosophy, and just enough money for a down payment on a small space. Everyone thought I was crazy. My wife Lisa supported me anyway, even when it meant refinancing our house, maxing out credit cards, and eating pasta 6 nights a week because that's what we could afford. She worked double shifts as a nurse while I renovated the space myself, learning plumbing and electrical work through YouTube videos and desperation. Opening night had been magical. The restaurant filled with friends, family, and curious neighbors drawn by the smell of my grandmother's famous bolognese sauce simmering for hours. Reviews praised the authentic recipes, the warm atmosphere, the owner who remembered regular customers' favorite dishes. For 6 months, I believed we'd make it. Then reality hit. A new upscale Italian place opened 3 blocks away with a celebrity chef and a massive marketing budget. A bad review from an influential food blogger went viral, criticizing our dated decor and amateur presentation. Summer brought construction that blocked our street for weeks. By fall, we were barely covering rent. By December, I'd spent my last savings on Christmas ingredients for a holiday rush that never came. The snowstorm was just the final insult from a universe that had decided I didn't deserve this dream. I'd prepared food for 80 people. The refrigerators held trays of homemade lasagna, fresh ravioli, braised short ribs, tiramisu, and my grandmother's secret recipe panettone. All of it would spoil. All of it wasted, like everything else I'd sacrificed. I was measuring wine into a glass, the expensive bottle I'd been saving for celebrating success, when the bell above the door chimed. I looked up expecting someone asking for directions, not someone who would redirect my entire life. An unexpected arrival. The man who entered was clearly wealthy. His cashmere coat probably cost more than my monthly rent. He was tall, maybe late 50s, with silver hair and an air of someone used to the best of everything. But it was the children behind him who captured my attention. 12 kids ranging from about 6 to maybe 14 years old, huddled together in coats too thin for the storm outside. Their shoes were wet and worn. Their faces showed the weathered look of children who'd seen too much, too young. They stood uncertainly in the doorway, dripping snow onto my floors, looking around the warm restaurant like it was a palace. "Are you open?" the man asked, his voice cultured but warm. "I know it's Christmas Eve and the weather is terrible, but these kids haven't eaten today and everywhere else is closed." I should have said no. I had no staff, no way to serve 13 people alone, and frankly no energy left for heroic gestures. But one of the smaller girls, maybe 7 years old with tangled blonde hair and enormous brown eyes, was staring at the Christmas tree in the corner with such wonder that my grandmother's voice echoed in my head. "We feed people, Marco. That's what we do." "Come in," I heard myself say. "Sit anywhere. I'll figure something out." The children moved cautiously, as if waiting for someone to tell them this was a joke. The man, he introduced himself as William, helped them out of their coats and guided them to the largest table. They sat quietly, hands folded, trying not to touch anything. The contrast between their poverty and the restaurant's warm Christmas atmosphere was heartbreaking. "I'm Marcus," I said, grabbing menus. "What brings you out in this storm?" William smiled, a genuine expression that reached his eyes. "We were supposed to be at a shelter's Christmas dinner, but the pipes burst and they had to evacuate. These kids have been disappointed enough times. I couldn't let them spend Christmas hungry in an emergency shelter. When I saw your lights on, it felt like Providence." I handed out menus, knowing they probably couldn't afford anything on them. But watching those children study the descriptions of pasta and chicken dishes like they were reading fairy tales, I made a decision that defied all business logic. Tonight wasn't about money. Tonight was about remembering why I'd started cooking in the first place. Setting the table. I seated them at 3 tables pushed together and brought out bread, warm focaccia I'd baked that morning. The children's eyes widened. One older boy, maybe 13 with dark skin and a protective air about the younger ones, whispered, "Can we really eat this?" "It's all you can eat," I said, watching them tear into the bread like it was treasure. "Now, what does everyone want for Christmas dinner?" The silence that followed was painful. The children looked at William, at each other, at their laps. Finally, the small blonde girl raised her hand timidly. "What's the cheapest thing?" My heart cracked. "Tonight," I said firmly, "price doesn't exist. This is Christmas dinner. You can have anything you want. In fact, I'm going to cook you my grandmother's famous feast, the one she made every Christmas Eve, unless anyone has allergies." William leaned forward, lowering his voice. "Marcus, I appreciate the kindness, but I can pay. I'm not." "I know," I interrupted, recognizing quality when I saw it. "But I have food for 80 people and 0 customers. It's going to spoil. You'd be doing me a favor." It was a lie, but a good one. The truth was messier. That I needed this as much as they did. That feeding these hungry children gave my failing restaurant more purpose than a month of paid reservations ever could. I rolled up my sleeves and headed to the kitchen, calling back, "Give me 20 minutes." The children's excited chatter followed me, and for the first time in months, my kitchen felt alive. I moved through the space like my grandmother's ghost was guiding my hands. Lasagna into the oven, pasta water boiling. Marinara sauce, made from tomatoes I'd canned myself last summer, heating in a massive pot, meatballs sizzling. I pulled out the special china I'd bought for important occasions that never came. If not now, when? While food cooked, I brought out appetizers, caprese skewers, arancini, bruschetta. The children ate with the kind of appreciation that reminded me why feeding people mattered. The 13-year-old boy helped the younger ones with napkins. A girl around 10 made sure everyone got equal portions. These kids knew how to take care of each other. William watched them with an expression I couldn't quite read, pride mixed with sadness, satisfaction mixed with something deeper. He caught me staring and smiled. "They're remarkable, aren't they? Life hasn't been kind, but they haven't let it make them cruel." I thought about my own struggles, my self-pity over a failed business, and felt ashamed. These children were homeless and still remembered to say please and thank you. What did I have to complain about? The feast begins. I brought out the first course like I was serving royalty, because that's what my grandmother taught me. Every person deserves to feel special when they eat. The children's reactions were everything a chef dreams of. Genuine amazement. Pure joy. The small blonde girl, her name was Sophie, actually clapped when she saw the plate of ravioli in brown butter sage sauce. Course after course, I brought food from the kitchen. Lasagna with layers of bechamel and slow-cooked meat sauce. Chicken parmesan with fresh mozzarella. Roasted vegetables with herbs from the tiny garden I kept on the roof. Fresh bread with olive oil and aged balsamic. Each dish represented hours of preparation I'd done expecting paying customers, but serving these children felt like the food was finally being eaten by the right people. William helped serve, carrying plates with surprising grace for someone who probably had staff for everything. He wiped a younger boy's face, cut food for Sophie, and kept glasses filled with sparkling apple cider I'd bought for mimosas that would never be made. Between courses, the children told stories. Marcus, same name as me, which made us laugh, was 13 and wanted to be a teacher. 10-year-old Keisha loved drawing and had sketched the restaurant on a napkin with remarkable skill. 8-year-old twins Carlos and Carmen were inseparable and dreamed of having their own bedrooms someday, something I'd always taken for granted. Each story was a reminder of parallel universes. These kids worried about where they'd sleep, whether they'd eat, if they'd stay with their siblings in the shelter system. I'd been worrying about Yelp reviews and profit margins. The perspective shift was humbling. "This is the best meal I've ever had," young Marcus said seriously, tomato sauce on his chin. "Better than anything." "Me too," Sophie added. "It tastes like love." My grandmother used to say the same thing, that you could taste love in food made with care, that cooking was an act of service and connection. I'd lost sight of that somewhere between business plans and bankruptcy fears. These children were giving it back to me. William watched me throughout the meal with an appraising look. I caught him taking photos of the kids eating, of the restaurant, of the Christmas decorations. At one point, he stepped away to make a phone call, speaking in low tones I couldn't hear. I assumed he was checking on shelter arrangements, making sure the kids had somewhere warm to sleep after this temporary reprieve from hunger and cold. William's story. During dessert, my grandmother's tiramisu and fresh panettone, William finally sat down with his own plate. The children were engaged in an animated discussion about what superpower they'd choose, their guards completely down, their laughter filling the space. "You're wondering why I'm here," William said, reading my curious glance. "Why someone who can clearly afford better is spending Christmas Eve with homeless kids in a snowstorm." I shrugged. "Everyone has their reasons. I'm just glad you came." "I grew up in shelters," he said quietly, watching the children with that same complex expression. "Different city, different time, but the same uncertainty, the same hunger, the same adults who either saw us as problems or didn't see us at all." I stopped wiping the table, giving him my full attention. One Christmas, when I was about Marcus's age, a stranger bought my shelter dinner. Nothing fancy, just pizza and soda, but he sat with us, talked to us like we mattered, asked about our dreams. William smiled at the memory. I told him I wanted to own a business someday. He said I could, that being poor wasn't the same as being incapable. Did you believe him? Eventually. It took years. Community college while working 3 jobs, business loans, failures, starting over. But I built a software company from nothing. Sold it 5 years ago for more money than that kid in the shelter could have imagined. He looked around my restaurant. Now I spend my time trying to be for other kids what that stranger was for me. A reminder that they're seen, that they matter, that their circumstances don't define their potential. That's remarkable, I said honestly. Most people wouldn't. Most people forget where they came from, he interrupted gently. I never wanted to be that person. Every Christmas, I find kids who need a good meal and a few hours of normalcy. Usually, I take them somewhere corporate efficient. But the storm closed everything, and then I saw your light. He paused, his eyes meeting mine. I've eaten in Michelin-starred restaurants around the world, Marcus. But watching these kids experience your food, your obvious care, this is what restaurants should be. Not status symbols or investment opportunities. Places where people feel valued. His words hit harder than he probably knew. I'd been so focused on surviving, on competing, on metrics and margins, that I'd forgotten the simple purpose. Creating moments that matter for people who walk through the door. Your grandmother would be proud, William added, nodding toward Bella's photo on the wall. She taught you the right things. Don't lose sight of that just because the business is struggling. How did you know? I started, but he just smiled. The gift I didn't expect. Around 9 o'clock, the children started yawning. Full stomachs and warmth after cold and hunger made exhaustion inevitable. William checked his phone and announced that the shelter had repaired their heat and sent a van that could navigate the snow. Before we go, he said, I have something for you, Marcus. He handed me an envelope. Inside was a check with so many zeros I had to count twice, along with a business card for his foundation. This is a grant for small businesses that serve their communities with integrity. Your restaurant qualifies. I stared at the check, hands shaking. It was enough to pay off debt, cover 6 months of expenses, and renovate. Enough to save Bella's kitchen. I can't accept this. You don't even know. I know enough, William said firmly. I know you fed 13 strangers without hesitation on the night you needed customers most. I know your food is exceptional and your heart is in the right place. I know this neighborhood needs places like this. He smiled. Besides, it's not charity, it's investment. My foundation supports businesses that prioritize people over profit. You're exactly who we're looking for. The children lined up to say goodbye, each one hugging me like I was family. Sophie pressed a small drawing into my hand, a crayon picture of the restaurant with a heart around it. Thank you for the best Christmas ever, she whispered. Young Marcus shook my hand solemnly. When I grow up and have money, I'm going to help people like you helped us tonight. Keisha gave me her napkin sketch. Carlos and Carmen sang a little thank you song they made up. Each child left a piece of themselves in my restaurant, transforming it from a failing business into something that had fulfilled its deepest purpose. As they bundled back into their inadequate coats, I ran to the kitchen and packed up all the leftover food, containers of pasta, wrapped panettone, bags of cookies I'd baked. For the shelter, I said. Share it with everyone. William clasped my shoulder. You're going to make it, Marcus. Not because of the money, though that helps, but because you remember what matters. Don't lose that when things get easier. The bell chimed as they left, taking the noise and life with them. But the restaurant didn't feel empty anymore. It felt full of purpose, full of possibility, full of the echoes of laughter and the reminder of why feeding people is sacred work. Christmas morning revelation. I stayed in the restaurant after they left, too overwhelmed to go home. I sat at the table where the children had eaten, reading William's business card, studying Sophie's drawing, looking at the check that represented salvation I'd stopped believing possible. My phone buzzed. Lisa, my wife, calling from the hospital where she'd picked up a Christmas shift to make extra money. How bad was it? She asked gently, knowing I'd been dreading this night. It was perfect, I said, surprising myself. Then I told her everything. The children, William, the food, the check, the realization that I'd been measuring success with the wrong metrics entirely. She cried. I cried. We made plans to celebrate when her shift ended, to finally believe we might actually survive this dream. Before leaving, I walked through the empty restaurant one more time. The tables where the children sat still held their energy. A stray crayon, crumbs from enthusiastic eating, the warmth of having served people who genuinely needed and appreciated what I offered. I looked at my grandmother's photo. You knew, didn't you? I said to her smiling face. That it was never about money or reviews or competing. It was always about this, about feeding people who are hungry, about creating moments that matter, about serving with love. The snow had stopped. Through the window, Christmas morning emerged clear and bright. I locked the door knowing that when I reopened, everything would be different. Not just because of William's grant, though that changed everything practically, but because those 12 children and one generous stranger had reminded me why I'd started this journey. Success wasn't filling every table with wealthy customers leaving big tips. Success was feeding people who needed feeding. Success was creating a space where everyone, regardless of their circumstances, could feel valued, seen, and cared for. Success was honoring my grandmother's legacy by cooking with love and serving with purpose. I drove home through empty streets transformed by fresh snow into something clean and new, feeling like I'd received the greatest Christmas gift possible. Perspective, hope, and the reminder that the best moments often come disguised as disasters, and the most important customers are sometimes the ones who can't pay at all. 3 months later, William's grant saved the restaurant, but the children saved me. I reopened in January with a new mission statement on the menu. We believe everyone deserves to feel valued when they eat. If you're struggling, ask. No one leaves hungry. The first week, 3 families quietly asked if I meant it. I did. Word spread. My restaurant became known not just for authentic Italian food, but as a place that cared about people over profit. Ironically, business improved. Paying customers came specifically because of our values, wanting to support a restaurant that supported the community. I started a program. Every Sunday, anyone experiencing hardship could come for a free family-style dinner. Williams Foundation helped fund it, but regular customers contributed too, leaving extra money, donating ingredients, volunteering to serve. The community rallied around the idea that feeding people mattered. Sophie and several of the children came to one of those dinners with their caseworker. Sophie wore a new coat. William had connected them with resources, helped arrange stable housing, became a consistent presence in their lives, ensuring they didn't fall through the cracks. "You saved my restaurant," I told William when he visited to see the program in action. "No," he corrected. "You were already saving it by remembering what mattered. I just gave you the breathing room to do it right." Young Marcus, the 13-year-old, asked if he could volunteer in the kitchen. He came every weekend, learning to cook, absorbing lessons about food and life. "When I grow up," he told me, "I want to do what you do, feed people and make them feel important." "You already do that," I said honestly. "You've been taking care of others your whole life. I'm just teaching you new methods." Bella's kitchen still isn't wealthy. We're profitable enough to survive, to pay staff fair wages, to fund the Sunday dinners, to maintain quality. But we're rich in the ways that matter, in community connection, in purpose, in the knowledge that we're serving something bigger than ourselves. I keep Sophie's drawing framed behind the register. When tough days come, and they do, I look at that crayon heart around my restaurant and remember the night everything changed. The night I learned that sometimes your biggest failure creates space for your greatest success, and sometimes the customers who can't pay teach you the most valuable lessons about why your work matters. The recipe for what matters. They say hitting bottom shows you what you're made of. That Christmas Eve, I learned I was made of the same ingredients as my grandmother. The belief that feeding people is sacred work, that everyone deserves dignity, and that success measured solely in dollars misses the entire point. William taught me that generosity isn't about having excess to give away. It's about recognizing need and responding, even when, especially when, you're struggling yourself. Those 12 children taught me that the most appreciative customers are often those who have gone without, that genuine gratitude fills a room more completely than any amount of revenue. Sophie's drawing hangs where I see it every day, a reminder that sometimes the smallest voices carry the biggest truths. Food made with love tastes different, and making someone feel valued is worth more than any Michelin star. The restaurant I almost lost became the business I was meant to build. Not a monument to my ego or a vehicle to wealth, but a community table where everyone has a place. Where single mothers working double shifts can bring their kids for a good meal without judgment. Where elderly neighbors eat family-style dinners and tell stories to children who need grandparent figures. Where success is measured in full stomachs and genuine smiles rather than profit margins alone. I still face challenges. Equipment breaks, ingredients cost more, competition remains fierce. But I face them with clarity about what I'm working toward and why it matters. I'm not just running a restaurant. I'm honoring my grandmother's legacy by creating a space that feeds both body and spirit, that values people over profit without sacrificing the ability to survive. On hard days, I remember William's words, "Don't lose sight of what matters when things get easier." So I don't. Every Sunday, we set tables for people who need them. Every day, we cook like we're feeding family. Every interaction, we try to make people feel seen. That Christmas snowstorm didn't just bring unexpected customers. It brought a course correction disguised as catastrophe, showing me that the empty restaurant I'd feared was actually making space for something better. A fuller purpose, richer meaning, and the understanding that the best measure of success isn't how much you earn, but how many lives you touch and how many hearts you feed along with their stomachs. Sometimes salvation arrives through the door you were about to lock, carried by people you least expect, teaching lessons you didn't know you needed. Sometimes the night you think destroys you is actually the night that saves you, not from failure, but from succeeding at the wrong things entirely. True success isn't measured by profit margins, but by purpose and impact. The moments when we feel most defeated often create space for our greatest transformations. Generosity costs nothing when you've already decided money isn't the most valuable currency. Connection, dignity, and compassion matter far more. The people who can give you the least materially often teach you the most about what matters. When we serve others with genuine care, especially those who cannot repay us, we discover that we were never really serving them at all. We were finding the deeper meaning our work was always meant to have. Sometimes you have to lose everything you thought mattered to discover what actually does.